So you would never call me a face, right? You think I'm sinful because I'm married to a man?
Yeah.
You do?
Yes, you're sinning. You are in a sinful relationship. I actually don't believe marriage can be between two men. So that's why I said, can you just tell me what verse that was? Sodomy is obviously a sin.
This is not a gotcha. I'm asking you.
But that is such a gotcha. That is such a gotcha.
So here we have two social media big hitters, Candace Owens and Don Lemon, erroneously feigning a friendly interview before that inevitably abates. The gloves come off and the cat claws are ferociously unleashed. And make no mistake, they're going for each other's jugular. It's almost as though they see themselves as the bastions of said causes, lifestyles, doctrines, the forbearers of their core beliefs, about to joust to the death. The study of theology and contemporaneous norms of sexuality and relationships rarely make good bedfellows, no pun intended, which you will somewhat see exemplified in this ruckus discussion. But let us observe, giving our thoughts along the way.
So Candace, welcome to the show. I appreciate you joining us. Things that I do where I say, you know what, Candace got it right. I like it. And there are other things where I'm like, oh my gosh, why the fuck is she saying that, right? And this is one thing that I've been wanting to ask you about, Candace, because it really bothered me. But I want the explanation in the context, as you say.
Do you have any clips of anything that like you agreed with, or we're just gonna like pretend this is a friendly interview as you can okay. Just wondering, is there even one clip of something that you agree with?
I don't know. Maybe I agree with the next clip. But anyway, roll the next clip, please.
And that is another way that they've psychologically tried to transform speech in America by saying like, oh, okay, you have free speech, but if you say that word, like if you say like, oh, that's whack or that's gay, then that would make you a homophobe. You don't want to be a homophobe, do you? It's no, we shouldn't do that. And it's even been the disappearance of words that actually had real meanings, like growing up, majoring in English, reading old English novels and understanding that a word like is a real word. It means a bundle of sticks.
Okay, so listen, I believe in free speech, right? But I also believe that free speech comes with consequences. So the word you said was right? Is that exactly the word? So what did you mean by that? You think it's okay to say the word, to call people to their face?
And now for Don Lemon, I guess we probably get to the real crux of the interview, in holding Owens to account with a wee little castigation along the way.
No, actually, I said words have meaning. And so when you start allowing the perverts to dictate speech, then words just have to go away. And as I said in that clip, when I was growing up and I was reading English novels, when people say you're walking through the woods to get a it meant a bundle of sticks.
You'll notice that timely wry smile, as though an acknowledgement of a subliminal dig at Lemon as she re-utters that word.
And then they said you can no longer say this word that has a real meaning, right? A bundle of sticks, because some pervert took that and threw it as an epithet towards gay people. I think that's actually, that's a wrong way of thinking, because then what you're doing is you're allowing perverts to dictate society. So I don't like the death of the English language because people are getting offended. So that's like, I could pick any word. I could say, plant. And from now on, every time I see a gay guy, I'm gonna be like, he's a total plant. And then eventually they say, you can't say plant anymore. It's like, no, this is a real word that has meaning. Attack the person who's perverting the word, but you don't suddenly disappear a word and you say you can no longer say it, or you can no longer read these Virginia Woolf novels because the word has been perverted. I think that's a backwards way of thinking.
Read Virginia Woolf novels, and the only people I know who are trying to ban books, Virginia Woolf and other books that even say the N-word. I mean, it's conservatives. That's who's trying to do it. I don't think that you should be banning books. But I do know, Candace, that language evolves over time. And when people say that word to me, they're not calling me a cigarette.
Yes, occasionally. Don makes a potent and relevant point.
They're not calling me
obviously, that's the point. It has a context. So if you want to punish that person because they're saying that offensively, that, if you feel that this person, but it's not fair to then say to everybody else who's not using that word that this word has now been banned. I just think that's ridiculous. That's my point.
You think people should
I don't think that you can suddenly say go backwards and delete words that had real meaning because someone has perverted it, because then it never stops. It just becomes constantly having to update the language for people's feelings. And I don't think that we should be doing that.
So you would never call me a in my face, right? So you would never call me a in my face, right?
Probably the one and only time you'll see Lemon at the Don asking a question with some grimace, right?
Well, why would I just randomly call you a
I'm just meaning.
Have you ever seen the Louis
C.K.
skit on? Have you ever seen the Louis C.K. skit on?
That word and that cheeky smile again. A descending battle of mind games between these two, with Lemon also about to double down.
No, I like Louis C.K., but I don't think I've ever seen a skit on
You should
that.
watch it.
Yeah. No, but you would never call like a gay person that to their face.
That seems like an absurd, like, what? No, of course, I'm not just going around. I'm a 35-year-old mother. I don't go around being like, hey, you're a It's just like, I'm not 18 years old. Like, I'm not going around calling people names, period. I wouldn't go up to a fat person and call them names. I wouldn't call it's just like it's an absurd thing to be going around pointing and calling people names because I don't like them. I would no. So the answer is no. I would not.
Do you use the N-word?
No, I don't.
No. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Hold on to your hats, folks. It's an interesting tactic that Lemon adopts, as he's now about to fully pull the linchpin on this discussion. That calm exterior, soft questioning demeanor that Lemon is famed for, masking a far more efficient and ruthlessly agendized modus operandi.
Here's something interesting that we may have some common ground on. Okay. But what do you think about same-sex marriage?
It's a sin.
You think it's a sin? So you think
It
I'm
is a
sinful?
sin. What's that?
You think I'm sinful because I'm married to a man?
Yeah.
You do?
Yes, you're sinning. You are in a sinful relationship. I actually don't believe marriage can be between two men. So I don't.
But
believe
you
that you're
understand, though, Candace, and maybe we're not going to agree on this now. I thought we would.
Come on, Don, joking aside.
Do you understand, though, that the same Bible verses and the same scriptures that are used to call same-sex marriage sinful are used to call interracial marriage sinful as well? And so there are people who would say that you are in a sinful marriage.
So now they're about to have a ding-dong, castigating each other's doctrines and lifestyles. Interracial versus homosexual. Some will be thinking the irony. For others, their thoughts will be, there's far more important things going on in the world today to relatively worry about.
Can you tell me which verse it is that would make people say?
The thing is that it's actually not there, and that people twist the Bible verses. That's my whole point. Thank you for proving that, because it doesn't say that, and it's actually, you're going to say Leviticus or whatever. It's not actually what Leviticus says. But go on. I don't want to get into specifics about the Bible, but that's not what the Bible says. It's just people using and interpreting Scripture in a way that they want to interpret it. So, look. You can believe whatever you want to believe. I don't believe that I'm in a sinful marriage, but there are people who believe, Candace Owens, that you are in a sinful marriage because you are in an interracial marriage. And I say that as someone who is in an interracial marriage, so I am doubly sinful.
Yeah, I've never heard anybody make a biblical argument against people being married that are black and white. So that's why I said, can you just tell me what verse that was? Sodomy is obviously a sin, but I've never heard a biblical argument. I'm happy to learn. I honestly, I'm happy to learn.
Sodomy is not just for gay sex, right? You know that, right? Sodomy is.
Yeah, it's a sin always, by the way.
Yeah, it's a sin between, it can be a sin between heterosexuals as well.
Yes, that's correct.
So, okay, but you've never heard that interracial marriage was sinful?
I've never heard somebody make a biblical argument for interracial. I've never, and that's why I'm saying if you could present that to me, and if maybe you're familiar with what verse that was.
Yeah, but actually it's not a biblical argument. It's also a religious argument as well, more so than anything, that you're in a sinful marriage and that black and white people should not be married.
I mean, I'm obviously very aware that people could think that ideologically, but I've never heard that biblical argument made ever in my life. And I'm happy to be proven wrong here, but I think you.
An example of what you get when you have two people who may already have encountered prejudices pertaining to their sexuality or choice of partner, now turning on one another.
You made that up on the spot there?
So by saying that, no, I didn't actually, but by saying that you believe that I'm in a sinful marriage, does that mean, though, that I should be discriminated against?
No, I've never called for discrimination.
So you believe in the separation of church and state, then?
Heterosexual couples can sin as well. I mean, I hope that you deal with that. I want you to be Christian and to understand why it is that sodomy is a sin and what else it yields in society. I believe that marriage is between a man and a woman.
She's saying, from her perspective, you've been a naughty boy, Don.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you believe that I should be discriminated against. I don't believe I should be able to have, under the Constitution, you believe that I have the same rights as you and other heterosexuals, and that my marriage is just as valid under the Constitution as anybody else's, including.
Well, I believe that the problem became that gets into a deeper theological discussion, but like the government should have never taken marriage away from the church. It should have been something that was maintained as a church practice. And so a lot of things happened there when the government took over and began marrying people, because then the arguments became, well, you get a tax break if you're married, and that is a way longer discussion that we can have on a different day. But to answer your question, I would never want any person based on their sins to ever be discriminated against, ever. I mean, I don't believe in discrimination. I don't believe that people should be treated differently. I think people should get help, you know? And like we were just talking about with trans indoctrination, I believe that's a mental illness and people should seek help. But I don't believe that they should be discriminated against. I would never be okay with that.
Okay.
I mean, I have people that are, you know, gay and lesbians in my life. I have cousins who are lesbians. So it's not, I don't have hatred
Do you have gay
in my
friends?
heart.
Okay, so we go from Candace's take on mental illness to Don's query on gay friends.
You have Jewish
I
friends?
have-
You have gay friends?
I'm trying to be funny.
Do you have gay friends? I want to know.
Yes, I actually don't have, like, I really kind of feel like I only hang out with my family right now. So I'm a little, I've got 3 kids under 3, so I don't really have friends right now, but yeah, sure.
So no friends other than the kids, and of course YouTube. Sounds like more of a swerve.
No, seriously, you don't have gay friends?
Well, I have gay people in my family. So yeah, that's the extent of my friendships with gay people.
Are you homophobic? No, seriously, I want to know.
You're such an
I thought
absurd
you would
human
say,
being.
of course I have gay friends.
You're just
What do you
such an
think? Get my
absurd
hair
human
in
being.
my- I don't know, I'm just
First
saying.
off, the person that you're just an absurd human being. Are you homophobic? Oh, I was just like, what does homophobia actually mean? Can you give me a definition of homophobia? If I was homophobic, would I be doing like this show? Do you think I'm like scared? Like I'm like, oh my God, look, there's a gay man. I'm so scared. It's
No,
Don Lemon.
not at
Like,
all.
to have
I
a
just
phobia
asked you a very
is like to
simple
have
question.
a phobia, is a fear of, like, you know, you think I fear like 2 gay men that are walking down the street holding hands, like, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so scared. I don't fear anything but God. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I don't think God is to be feared, but anyways, I'm just surprised that you don't have any gay friends, because that, you know, I just am. So listen,
So Candace looks pissed. Lemon initially made it sound as though they were meeting up for a light, friendly spar, but then pulled a wrench out of his pocket. In turn, Candace alludes to him being a sodomite whose lifestyle she attributes to mental health illness.
I actually enjoyed this conversation. I think people who disagree with each other should be able to talk and hash things out. So I hope
Did
that
you
will
enjoy it?
Interpreted as hell no. That's a straighter response you'll get out of Candace, whilst Lemon winds down with his diplomatic spiel, but he knows.
100% I enjoyed it. See, I think people think that conversations should be easy, that people should agree with everything. I have a different perspective on life. I have a different worldview than you. Many things you say I don't respect, but I respect you as a human being. And I think that the only way that we are going to make this grand experiment work is if at some point we try to at least have consensus on something. And sometimes the least of that consensus is being able to at least talk about it and go away saying, you know what, we agree to disagree. You know?
I think that's fine. I believe in more speech, not less. So you will not make an enemy of me if you're talking about the right to conversation. I very much believe in it.
Candace Owens, thank you for appearing. I really appreciate your time. Thanks.
Thank you so much. It was great.
That look, when someone is relieved that the ordeal of that long phone call is finally over, and mumbling under the fake departing smiles and pleasantries that I'm never talking to that disrespectful mofo again.
Talk soon.